It's finally Lunar New Year, and what better way to celebrate than having another staycation? This time, I stayed at Rosewood's newest property in London, the Chancery Rosewood. The property was previously US Embassy, and it took 8 years for renovation to complete. If you're a fan of luxury hotels, you'll probably know that there are many prestigious 5-star hotels within the area of Grosvenor Square and Hyde Park, and Chancery Rosewood's interior designer obviously know their assignment. For example, according to the staff, the floor plan of the hotel has been altered as it was originally U-shaped. It has not been modified and rooms are located around the atrium and you can now look straight through the floors. This prevents the hallways from feeling like a winding maze and allows the restaurant downstairs to have high ceilings, significantly improving the dining experience. As for the room, I'm fortunate to have a free upgrade to this beautiful suite. The staff explained to me that the design didn't adopt a tech-heavy approach by getting rid of tablets. Instead, physical switch was installed to control the room from curtains to lightings. This reminded me of my stay at the elegant yet modern Andes Tokyo in 2022. Drinks in the minibar are all inclusive, though the TV only has Chromecast instead of smart TV settings. Overall, the room feels cozy despite the fact that it doesn't have clear delineation of living and sleeping area. The materials used and lighting create an ambience similar to home. The only slight downside was the current view from the room, as construction work at Grosvenor Square was at full throttle. For the bathroom, it reminded me of the renovated island Shangri-La in Hong Kong, and I mean that in a good way. The black marble paired with bronze faucets and soft lighting creates a look that is classic without being dated. While not massive, it is well laid out with separate shower and bathtub, and toiletries like shampoo and hand cream are of high standard. For dining, I went to a restaurant called Jacqueline for afternoon tea. This place is famous for having over 500 types of tea with specialists doing the mix and match pairings. It sounds like a gimmick, but you can feel the dedication and finesse when watching them brew the tea leaves. The welcoming tea was oolong series, whether it was the cold sparkling tea or the hot oolong. They were a bit different from what you usually get elsewhere. It is lighter than a traditional oolong, but maintained its signature black tea taste, which made it very refreshing. The staff then suggested matcha. This matcha with genmai flavors, and as a result, it is good at quenching thirst and good for stomach. The only surprise was their Earl Grey tea, which actually I should say a bit bland because the citrus wasn't very strong and felt less of a standout. This selection of sandwiches are almost identical to what I've had at the Peninsula London last year. They include coronation chicken, cucumber, truffle and egg, and salmon. Surprisingly, the flavors here were more tasty. The salmon was better smoked, the masala and the chicken was more vibrant, and the truffle egg was richer without being overpowering. Both plain and raisin scones are served for the set. They were small but warm with a nice milky flavor and slightly bouncy texture. It is also not too heavy in butter. The clotted cream had a slight cheesy vibe that paired well with the taste of the scones. As for the strawberry jam and the marmalade, the latter one hands down, as it had a rich orange aroma and a perfect balance of bitter zest and sugar. For pastries, this hazelnut puff is, what should I say? It's very typical hazelnut puff, nothing more than that. This chocolate ganache had a very intense chocolate taste. One highlight of this is the gunaja chocolate, which has berry flavor, but it wasn't overpowering. This hibiscus rhubarb is a little bit strong for me as I don't like berry flavors. And finally, no surprises, good or bad, for this lemon tart. Overall, at £97, it was absolutely worth it given the service and food quality. For dinner, I've chosen Sarah. This buttermilk pita and cold-cooked aubergine dip is a match in heaven. The pita was chewy yet soft and perfectly charred, and dipping it through this aubergine mash is just perfect. For main dish, I've ordered this seared tuna steak. It is seared crispy on the outside while remaining tender and silky inside. The caper and olive puree underneath added layers of flavor that locked in the tuna's freshness perfectly. For side dishes, I had this black cabbage. It is sautéed with chili, garlic and olive oil, which makes it refreshing and well balanced. And finally, for dessert, I had this almond polenta lemon cake. With mascarpone and bergamot, you can feel the creamy texture of dairy blends in really well with the citrus fragrance. Overall, at £102, I would say it is excellent value both in terms of food quality and service. Mind you, I haven't tried the famous Japanese restaurant, Tobimasa, as omakase element is included even for a la carte service. An average cost per person is £260, so I skipped it. I also skipped the Eagle Bar on the 7th floor as I don't drink. Let me know in the comments if you have tried it. On the next day, I went to Sarah again for a full English breakfast. As you can see from this clip, All the ingredients like sausage, bacon, black pudding, poached eggs and toast are amazing. Staff are also friendly and attentive. For fitness facilities, all guests can have access to the gym and pool via a dedicated lift at hotel floors. The gym operates 24/7. While it doesn't have a Smith machine, which is my favorite, it's spacious and fully equipped with strength machines, dumbbells and treadmills. For the pool, it's a 25-meter heated pool and opens at 7:30 a.m. It wasn't crowded and is clean and well maintained. The staff are also attentive but not intrusive. Overall, at £1,200 per night, when compared to other top-tier London hotels like the Shangri-La, Bulgari, or Mandarin Oriental, this is easily the best in terms of freshness, location, design and service. The staff really know how to communicate warmly without being intrusive, but what made it stand out were two things. First, free round-trip airport transfers are included, and second, there is no standard check-in check-out time. Technically speaking, as confirmed by the staff, you could check in at 8 a.m. and leave at 11:59 p.m. the next day, and that's essentially buy one night, get one free. Of course, I won't be that greedy, and hence I only chose to arrive at 11:30 a.m. and left at 3 p.m. But if you have an early flight in and a late flight out, just saving the hassle of transportation and luggage makes a room rate worth every penny.